Let's roll here. Sicilian. Knight f3. Okay, open Sicilian. And okay, well, usually it is knight f6, a6. What do you do in your own games when you're seeing something that's not so typical? Here's one thing you could be thinking about. What are the differences? What is this move? Well, what does this move, this typical move, do that this move does not? There's no pressure on this pawn, so what it means is I have the time for first c4 to reinforce my grip over d5, and only then follow up with knight c3. Did you catch that? It's a good line of thought to run with, looking for the differences between the typical move and the atypical move. This is typical, this is atypical at this moment right here, on this particular move. So what does this really mean? Does it mean my opponent's losing? No. What it does mean with this last move, though, is that this is a weak point. I'm going to play here because I want my knight to eventually pivot on e3 and then jump into that weak point. Just want to get more development in. Knight c3, let's go. I don't have to worry about any silly pin either. Okay, there's what's the story here? What's the queen up to? I think she's setting herself up for bad things. She's getting herself in trouble here. I think I do something as calm as develop bishop e2. What should I be fearing? f2. This move stops knight g4. Any thoughts of that? The queen is really in a bad spot because I could be doing moves like bishop e3 at some point. I could be jumping into d5 with tempo. Let's just castle first. I could be playing to g5, remove this knight, and then all the more appealing, knight d5. So, a lot of talk here. What's the scoop here? Who stands better? Who has a better structure? White. This is not good. There is a setup that is good, but I mean, not in this order, not with the queen coming out. It's more of if you're going to have this structure, e5, d6, you want the bishop to be posted on e6 to watch over that weak point. This is like a Najdorf, but with c4 included, it's kind of tough. It's restricting b5 and d5. How does black untangle here? Pawn push to b3, and then just play my bishop out, chop a knight, throw a knight in here. I like my dark square bishop though. Let's just do this. There's no rush. This knight is unprotected. Actually, why didn't I run with this knight e3 move? Yeah, maybe I could have done without b3. Alrighty then. Whenever I say alrighty then, I think of, you know who? JC. Who knows what I'm talking about? JC, what is he talking about? Bishop here or knight here? Get right here. I like bishop here. Yeah. No. Yeah. We're going to have a change of structure coming up. Yes! Feynman, Dirac. Got it. Mr. Jim Carrey. Knight d5. Chop. How do I recapture? I have a space advantage here, and I'm gonna have this knight right here hitting this knight, and he's going to have to run home. Is he too good for his home? There's another one for you. F4 is a follow-up. If this pawn is not around, this knight starts to lick his chops at the d4 square. Where does he go from there? I honestly don't know. But it's a plan. F4 is to try and just remove this pawn. It's to try and open up the F file. My opponent, it's just to open up. Actually, there's several ways you could view, or several reasons behind wanting to run with a move like F4. Look at all the benefits of it. Open files, your opponent's uncastled, removal of this pawn to have d4 available. So what does this translate into? Let's take first. Let's open stuff up. And pawn takes, I just recapture my bishop, and then pawn pushes, hitting at f7 is probably good to do, for lack of better words there. But what about trade some light square bishops off? Ooh, no. You want to lose pieces? No, I could do that. Bishop takes, queen takes. My queen is here to defend this pawn laterally. This knight is having a bad day, I think, right? He can't be too excited about things, can he? Is he saying I love a7 right now? He's boxed out. For as long as I keep these guys as is, he's a dead duck there on the edge. The old rim is dim trick. Not trick. Adage. Bishop takes, queen takes. Okay, now the pawns get rolling. Connected past pawns. That was the other deal right here. Space. Space. This might not ever have a home now. If I go here, he will. So I won't go here. How about I just reinforce stuff? Pawn push right here. I want to keep these. I just want them to sit. Stay right there. Anybody hear that hog in the background? Okay, well, there's no tricks with this either, because I have my queen defended enough. Yes, Shitako said it right. Motorcycle dude. Alright, bishop here. If I go here, then there's a5. I don't even want to allow that file to open up. Let's just play here. Let's trade a little bit. This bishop is kind of... well, I'm also doing it so my knight could jump into f5. If he gets here, bad stuff happens quick. And my knight's also in a spot now to watch over this. Trouble. Rook here. Boom. Okay, now what? I think I just shoo this knight away. God there, knight. Tricky stuff around the corner. Whoa, counterattack doesn't work. I have my knight defended. They're in some time pressure here. Time trouble time. time trouble time. Mate on g7. Get that queen out of there. Okay, blunders. Happens. No time. No time. Kitchen sink variation. Kitchen sink. No time. Alright. Good game, double B 13. Let's go back. Back. Let's flip. Flip. Where is there an improvement? Right here. Put on the brakes right here. You have to stop that a6 move, I'm pretty sure. Because the move order does matter. You don't want me to get in this c5 move prior to developing my knight to c3. So what I'm getting at is just go with this first. Knight f6, knight c3, and only then a6, and then you're in a Najdorf. If you do a6 first and I get c4 in, you get into a not so good Najdorf, right? And this is, I don't know, I can't. You really have to know what you're doing with this particular structure, and I'm not so sure I I could agree with going with this setup right here. If you are going to go for it, let's just say it is for some reason still good. This eventual bishop move should be to e6 to watch over that weak square. But he ended up playing to d7. And, I mean, another organization, with this structure, with this d6, e5 structure, you want to have your king on, or yeah, your king knight on f6, your queen bishop on e6, and your queen knight on d7, all either directly or indirectly influence the d5 square, which is a key square in this position without a doubt. Your knight directly, your king knight directly watches over this. Your bishop directly watches over this. And your queen knight, I'm saying indirectly, because if there's ever a bishop g5 move and bishop takes knight, the queen knight can recapture and then be in a position to replace your king knight with watching over d5. I can't move the pieces, otherwise I would, and it'd be a little bit clearer, but anyhow, can't recommend e5, and switch this move order up. Go with this knight out immediately, and then if you want to play a6, play a6. Alright, I think that's my main suggestion, and main suggestions are often coming about with regard to a particular pawn advance, and that's what we're seeing. The a6 move when it was played, in e5 to follow. Okay, let's close out.